Welcome! This is the Guild Chat, a show that brings gaming news, discussion, and more to all video game enthusiasts out there.
I'm your host. My name is Chy. You'll also hear me referred to as Chicken Run.
And I'm your host, Sam, aka 111, and we are members of the Guild.
What is the Guild? Well, it's a gaming lounge that's coming to downtown Madison, Wisconsin this winter. As former Badgers, our goal is to bring quality entertainment, a great social environment, and memorable experiences to our community.
Our establishment will house top-of-the-line PCs, a variety of both modern and retro consoles, as well as multicade arcade machines. We will also offer a full bar with an exciting beverage and food menu with a variety of snacks.
We hope that the Madison community is excited as we are to stay connected with us and welcome us as we embark on this new journey together.
In the meantime, we'll be putting out YouTube and other social media content such as these Guild Chats, which will focus on a variety of video game related segments. We will also have other podcasts, behind the scenes, and much, much more. So please consider subscribing and checking out our other socials and joining our Discord. All will be linked below.
So since today is our first episode, we kind of wanted to talk about our first gaming experiences. So like what our first video games were, what our first consoles were, that kind of thing. First thing I want to know is, how did you get your gamer tag, the 111?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting story. So if you're familiar with the Bone graphic novel series, I read that a lot when I was growing up. There was a character named Smiley Bone in it.
It's like the Care Bears.
Yeah,
where it's like Grumpy Bear and Rainbow Bear.
Yeah. So I used the name Smiley Bone, but it was just one character too long, so I dropped the B from Bone, and I was Smiley 1. Mm-hmm. And then I eventually, that was taken, so I had to add more and more ones on the end of it, and so I just liked the kind of the wordplay of just making it 111.
And it's, spell it out, because it's like one, like O-N-E.
Yeah, O-N-E,
and then the number one,
and then W-O-N. And recently I changed the last O to an A to reference Avatar: The Last Airbender. The first Avatar was named Wan. So I just
you can just keep adding
Yeah. And your username?
Well, I'm Chicken Run. Just because I really like the movie Chicken Run, and I feel like I was kind of known for it for some reason. I talked about it a lot, and then my friends started sending me if they saw a picture of Chicken Run or something out in public or any sort of reference or meme to it, they would send it to me. And I don't even think I just didn't have a gamer tag really, because I didn't get a PC until recently, so I didn't play any sort of online game where I needed that. And I was like, you know what, people know me for Chicken Run, yeah, so I'm just gonna own it. And I love when I go into Game Now and people are like, oh my god, I love that movie. Did you see a sequel's coming out? I'm like, of course, I know about the sequel, Chicken Run. Yeah. I am Chicken Run. I also wanted to ask, I brought some props with me here. So this is my first gaming console ever. It's a DS Lite. And it's probably not charged right now, but it still works. Yeah, it's definitely dead, but I have the charger and it still works and everything. And I love this thing. I played it so much. It's super loose. The pen, that thing's long gone.
Yeah. Those are so easy to lose.
Yeah.
So I had to get replacements for it.
Yeah, and I love it. So it's the Game Boy cartridge and stuff. And so I got this and a PS2 around the same time. And so these were my first consoles. But when I went to the store to go buy this, I went with my mom to Target after saving up for a Game Boy for months, because the Game Boy was I don't even remember, $70 or something like that. Yeah. And so I saved up so much money, and we went to Target, and we were talking to the teenage boy who was working the electronics counter, and he was like, oh yeah, I can show you where the Game Boys are, but they just announced that they're not making Game Boys anymore. So he was like, you're not going to want to buy a Game Boy because they're not making any more games for it.
That's old news.
Yeah, but it was news to me, and I was devastated because he was like, you should buy a DS instead. The DS was $50 more than a Game Boy was. I didn't have money for that. I was so sad. Luckily, my mom was very kind to pay the rest for me, because seeing how excited I was to get this. So I came home with that day, and then later on I did upgrade to 3DS.
I had the purple 3DS too.
Yeah, I love this thing. I still have the pen for it. I still play this one a lot because it's the only device that you can play Style Savvy on. I wonder if that's the game. Oh, there's no
What is
game
that
there.
game?
It's like a fashion type game. Yeah, they have it. The original one I had for my DS Lite, and then they came out with a 3DS version, so I had to get that. It's like you like own a fashion store, and people come in. You have to like give them clothes that they would like to sell it on. You're like a businesswoman.
I see.
You know?
I see. Yeah.
So I love my DSs, even though I have a Switch now. There are certain games I can't play on Switch, and I always go back to my DSs to play those. Nice. Yeah. But what about you? What was your first console you got, if you remember getting it?
So, my first console was probably the Game Boy Color. Mm-hmm. I played on that a lot. I remember I only realized recently what game it was because when they remastered Link's Awakening for the Switch.
You're like,
that's when I was like, oh my god, that's the game that I was playing. I didn't even realize. I was always like, which Zelda is that even? Because I didn't even. It's such a kind of not well known Zelda.
It's no Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, exactly. But I played that on the Game Boy Color a lot. I think the first time I ever played a video game was at my uncle's house, and it was Sonic 2, I remember. It must have been on the Genesis or something. I'm not sure which console it was on.
I love Sonic.
Yeah, I was a big fan of it at the time. And so I started calling him Uncle Sega after that, because that was like my favorite thing to go do. I was like, can we go visit Uncle Sega? We'd drive for hours just to go play Sega.
Yeah. That's such a good uncle, though.
Yeah, I know. But then I owned a Nintendo 64, which was probably the one I played on the most, and then GameCube eventually. I grew up playing GameCube a lot. Mm. Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 on the Nintendo 64 were huge games for me. I think there's even they're gonna remake the Nintendo 64, like those the SNES and the NES remakes. I think they're doing that for the Nintendo 64, so I might actually get that when that comes out. We'll see.
That would be cool. How about you guys? What was your first video game? What was your first console? Let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear about it. All right, we've got a couple guests here today to talk to us about their early gaming experiences. Do you guys want to introduce yourself, what your position is at the guild, and also just give us maybe your favorite video game when you were a kid?
So I'm Charles. I'm one of the founders of the guild. And my favorite video game as a kid would probably have to be Star Wars Rebellion. So I'm sure not a lot of people have played the game before, and right now Star Wars Rebellion is a board game. It's no longer a PC game. But basically it was a grand strategy game, a real-time grand strategy game set in the Star Wars universe. So you control either the Empire or the Alliance, and you could recruit characters, you can do research, and you build ships, and you try to basically conquer the whole galaxy. That Star Wars Rebellion was basically my first original real game that my parents bought for me. It was like $70. And as a big fan of Star Wars, I went to the shop, I saw the game. I didn't read any reviews or anything on it. I just said, okay, it's Star Wars. And I got my parents to buy it for me. And it's very buggy, it's very janky. But because it cost $70, I think I played that game for a good 500 hours maybe.
Is it like Risk, kind of?
Yeah, it's basically Risk, but kind of like Risk in Star Wars. Yeah. And I recommend it for Star Wars fans, but I don't think anyone else other than Star Wars fans should be playing the game.
My name is Jin. I am also one of the co-founders of the guild. I have a whole bunch I really like, but I would say what got me into gaming, the first genre that got me into gaming was an RTS, real-time strategy game. Was the first series of the Command and Conquer video games, which was done by Westwood Studios. I believe it was the first video game that had like cinematic cutscenes in it, where they would hire Hollywood actors to like play as NPCs within the game itself. It's fully voiced by professionals, and then it just had like great graphics for the time. You could command an army, build it up. There are campaigns, so there's some strategy to it, and the strategy within the campaigns itself is highly variable. They're like single unit scenarios. There are like scenarios where you're dropped in with a limited squad and you have to complete the mission with what you're given, and then there are like standard base building missions where you build a base, build your units, and then just overwhelm the enemy. That was probably the first game I got into. My dad was the one who bought it for me on recommendation from a friend who said that it was highly educational. And
was it?
Yeah, it was very educational. It's educational. Yeah, because I ended up playing the game more than actually studying, which then became a problem with my parents. But in the end of the day, it did get me into gaming. Like that was the first step into that, because if not for that game, I wouldn't have started playing other games by Westwood Studios as well, like big names like Red Alert 2, Command and Conquer Tiberian Sun. I wouldn't have gotten into StarCraft, and then later on into like RPGs. So that was like my first experience playing a fully fledged like title game, because before that I used to play on like custom consoles, like consoles that didn't have any brands on them. It's just like a machine that some guy in the neighborhood store made by himself with like cartridges that came with like hundreds of games in there that he just downloaded. So that was
I've never seen that before.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I think most kids in Asia would have grown up with that experience, because like there was no universal console in Asia at the time. Like even though you had like PlayStation and like GameCube and Nintendo 64 systems out there, right? But they weren't unified on a single system, and you had to buy multiple consoles. So the solution to that in Asia was that these shops would make custom consoles that could play all the games on a single console.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think a lot of my games came from magazines. It's not, I don't know whether it's still a thing, but a lot of like...
They send a CD with it?
A lot of computer magazines at the time, they would have like a disc with like 100 different demos
on it,
or shareware games.
This is so retro.
Shareware games are basically, it used to be like games where they would have the whole game on the CD, and then to unlock the full, they gave you like access to like the first 6 hours or the first few hours of the game, and then if you really want to play the whole game, you have to they direct you to a website and you buy, and you have to pay for the game, and they can send you a code. So that's where I got most of my games from, actually, like the CDs that come with like computer game magazines.
I don't know about the rest of Asia, but in Singapore, getting those like demo CDs really opened up the market into like PC gaming, especially like platformers. For me, I discovered a whole bunch of platformers through these demo CDs. Some I don't know whether you've heard of any of these kind of titles, but like Jazz Jackrabbit was like one of the best platformers I ever played that nobody has heard of.
Because it was only on the demo disc.
Yeah, everyone has just played the demo version. No one has played like the full game. I actually played the demo, and then I stole my dad's credit card and bought the full version of the game, right? And I played it, and I had so much fun playing that. And that's how we discovered all kinds of games, through these magazines, and it's actually become a cultural thing now. Like everyone just. It became a cultural thing where everyone would share these magazines. Like you go to class and one kid will have like we'll pull together money and buy the magazine, and then we'll share the CDs around the class. So
that's so cute, honestly.
Every month they will come, like every month with the new issue there'll be new games inside the CDs and everything. So it was quite good.
I just went to the library and checked out the whatever putt-putt game they had.
Oh yeah.
Putt-putt. I remember putt-putt.
I love it. A lot of my like earliest games were like puzzle games. So like putt-putt, and I don't know if you've ever played like the Professor Layton games. Those were my favorites for like DS. And like I love rhythm games too. So like I don't know why, but my elementary school had like a nice like DDR machine. For no reason. We were like 6, but they had DDR, and then for gym class they would like project it on the wall, and then we would like do DDR for gym class. So I always rhythm games I really liked
Yeah.
too.
In my high school, they had they bought a Wii U system. And they put it in the outside one of the computer labs, and like anyone could go in and just play it. That became an attraction in the school because it was kind of like physical sport. It's like a very early version of like, I wouldn't say VR, but like AR maybe, because like you hold the controller and then you can play tennis with your friends on the screen, and that was kind of fun. You can play boxing as well, so it became like a lot of like, I feel like in school, that's how a lot of us got into like later on into like online gaming was through school, because we would have like class modules where you go into the computer lab and then you have a bunch of like adolescent boys in the class and none of them are paying attention to the curriculum.
Yeah.
You give them a computer with internet access and then everyone was online in the class but not attending the class. We're all playing RuneScape.
My school had like a typing game, and that's where I learned.
We did too.
That's how I learned to touch type.
Me too. We had the I remember getting a certificate for being the fastest typer in my class in 4th grade. And I was so proud. But yeah, because I finished the game first because we had like computer lab time during school, and I loved it because then I would just like sit and type and then it would be like this game thing.
Yeah, my grade school or primary school, we had like a library with computers. Like we had 5 computers there, and you could put your name down and use the computer for half an hour. And they had, well, most people played RuneScape on it. So it was RuneScape as well as text-based
text-based RPGs.
Text-based MMO RPGs at the time. I think they're called MUDs, multiplayer user dungeons. And then there was another like
that's like an early rendition of D&D, because like they have a preset map and then they have like all the encounters and everything, but you don't know, right, as the user. So if you want to go to the next grid, you have to type like go left,
go north, go south,
go east, go west.
Yeah,
hit boss.
Yeah, it's a lot of typing. It was there was no graphics in it.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
graphics.
is it just like text-based?
It's mostly
text-based.
all carried by the storyline that came in the game. Or sometimes it's just like, we just wanted to play a game and we didn't really care.
Yeah, it's almost like just like choose your own adventure, but
Kinda.
Almost, yeah. Very
so it was
sandbox.
D&D basically,
Yeah.
but online and with. So if you think of it as World of Warcraft without graphics, just all text. Yeah.
wow, even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was also this MS-DOS game where it's like kind of like worms. You control 2, like each player has a worm and you play it on the same keyboard.
Liero?
Yeah, what was it called?
Liero,
yeah.
Liero. That's like the pirated version of Worms.
Yeah.
Because like Worms, you have like the graphics and like you can choose all these weapons and everything. Liero was like a more, it was like more for like connoisseurs of the game, because it was also free.
No, but it was really popular in the 90s.
It was really popular because like it didn't have the constraints. You didn't have to buy it. You could just download the game, and then you can play it. And then it comes like you can it's completely like customizable. You could create your own weapons and stuff, and then just play it with a friend and just like duke it out on each other. There's really no point to the game except just to like experiment with it and just like have fun. There's like really no competitive point to it. You don't really win or lose. It was just more like wailing on each other.
And then my school didn't have any of like parental control set up. And a lot of people were going to, I don't know if you guys know about it, Newgrounds.
I've heard of
Newgrounds.
So Newgrounds is kind of like, I guess it's kind of like college humor. Kind of like a college humor website.
All the Flash games.
They had all the Flash games, they had all the Flash videos, and some of the Flash games were more adult. More
Very
more
they were like the
risque.
Stickman games as well, right?
Yeah.
I miss Flash games so much.
Those were the Wild West days of gaming. I would say the first mainstream game that hit the public was the personal pet device, the Tamagotchi.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I had that.
So like you keep a virtual pet that you have with you at all times, and then later on that became like the Digivice for Digimon. That was before Pokemon. So like everyone would carry the Digivice, and then you have your pet in there, and then you find a friend and go like, let's battle our pets, and then his pet kills your pet, and then you go home and cry.
Yeah. Or you wake up and your pet's like
Dead.
dead. You didn't feed it last
It's like
night.
you left the poop there. You didn't give it the vitamins, or you gave it too much vitamins.
Yeah.
And for me personally, like I don't know whether anyone remembers this, but like I always my Digimon always became the Slugmon. And I just couldn't figure out how to keep it alive. The Slugmon always dies.
The thing is, if you try to cheat on the device too much, you
Yeah.
end up breaking your device, and all it ever becomes is a slug.
Oh, so that's what happened.
Yeah.
I kept trying to cheat on the device.
So I have a game for you guys.
Yeah.
It's Who's That Pokemon?
Sure.
Pretty simple. I'm just going to show you a Pokemon and you have to tell me what the name of it is.
Okay.
I will say a lot of these are not first, second generation.
Oh, dear.
Because I figured you guys would be really good at it. If I made it all first generation, it wouldn't even be a game.
In the first 2 gens, I would probably have no issue at all.
So here is our, I tried to start a little easier maybe, but whoever says it first will get a point. So we'll see who's the Pokemon master. So here's the first one.
Oh, that's Omastar.
Okay, one for Charles.
Okay, I was too slow.
Okay, here's the second.
Mankey.
Okay, 1-1. Here's the third.
Oh, jeez.
No clue. Too new for me.
I know that because I played that on Pokemon Arceus. I think I saw that and I just can't remember the name.
Do you want the answer?
Yeah, sure.
It's Cricket Tot.
Okay.
All right, number 4.
Oh dear. That looks like it's from Final Fantasy. Cactuar.
Yeah, a little bit.
But it's not. I know it's not. I don't know.
You're not far off with the name.
I want to say this is from Sun and Moon. But I can't remember the name of the Pokemon.
It's a pagoda. I don't know.
I have no clue. Yeah, I don't know this one.
I don't know.
It's Cacturn.
Cacturn. Okay.
Well, so it probably was inspired by Final Fantasy.
Probably.
Yeah.
Here's another one.
Nose.
I tried picking hard ones, so it wasn't too easy.
Oh damn! I should know this one. This came out in Ruby Sapphire, I believe.
This Pokemon is an abomination. First of all, it's so ugly.
Nose Pass.
Close. Starts with a P.
That's the small version. It's Nose Pass. Yeah.
This one starts with a P.
Oh man, I don't know. I only know the first version of the evolution.
It's Probopass. So you're very close. I almost want to give you a half point for that. Here's the next one.
Oh, that's Wigglytuff.
Okay. And this one?
Elekid.
Oh, you got it.
Elekid.
Right.
Elekid. I think this is a newer one as well.
Yeah, this came out pretty recently. I've played all the Pokemon games. It's just
Yeah.
that I never bothered to remember the newer ones.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Plus, whenever I catch, a lot of times I'll like name the ones I catch, like just some stupid nickname, and then I never know the actual like name of the Pokemon.
It's called something, but yeah, I can't remember. I just remember it's called
I
something.
have no clue.
Yeah.
It's Cubchoo.
Capchu.
Cubchoo.
Okay.
He's sneezy.
Yeah.
And then we got this one.
Oh, I have no clue what that is.
This one's new, but it's so cute.
Is that?
I love the name too.
I don't know.
I have no clue. This one, this one's a blank for me.
This one, it's called Mousehold.
Mousehole?
Yeah, I think it's so cute because it's like a whole household, but they're mice, so it's a Mousehold. Yeah.
Okay.
I just personally one of my favorites, so I added it in there.
Is this in the latest one?
This is in the latest.
Scarlet Violet?
Yes.
Okay,
it
maybe I
is.
haven't encountered it yet because there were very disturbing bugs in Violet and Scarlet. You know, like my character becoming this giant stick man that just like vibrates on the spot.
Was that off-putting for you?
That was very off-putting. I encountered it like 3 or 4 times in the first like 3 hours, and I stopped playing the game for a while. Yeah.
Well, you missed the Mousehold. All right, here's the last one.
Sharkpedo?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna think Sharknado, but that's a movie.
Yeah, it's close. Yeah, awesome. I think Jen wins.
Yeah.
3-2. But it was close. I did pick really hard ones because if it was all first gen, I think it would just be a game of who said it faster. So, yeah.
Most likely.
Thanks for playing. I hope it was a bit of nostalgia for everyone. That's everything for today. Thanks for chatting with the guild. Don't forget to subscribe, check out our socials and our Discord. Everything will be in the bio. Yeah, we'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.